Good day, Matayum 3 students. I am your teacher in math, Teacher Rodell, and today we will learn our new topic in online lesson. The unit is about basic statistics and the topic is frequency distribution. Let us start. So what is a frequency distribution? It is a representation that displays the number of observations within a given interval, or it can help you easily understand the information contained in the raw data or data. So what are the two types of frequency distribution? The first one is discrete frequency distribution, and the second one is continuous grouped frequency distribution. Or the first type is discrete and the second type is continuous or grouped. Continue. Let us start with the discrete frequency distribution. Let's have an example. Let's take a look at this data. So it says the number of children in 20 families. So meaning there are all 20 families here, and the number of each family differs. So for example, the first family has one child, and the other one child, two children, and the rest of it follows. So how do we make this, or how do we make a frequency distribution table so we can understand the whole data? Let's continue. First, you need to make a table, and in the table you will have 3 columns, and in the first column you're going to write here the number of children, because we are talking about children and the numbers of it. The second column talks about the tally, and the third one is about frequency. So let's try first about the number of children. What are the numbers we are going to write here? So the numbers we are going to write here is talking about this data. Since we have the smallest number 1 and the biggest number is 5, going back to the table, we are going to write here 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We do not write 6 because there are no number 6 here, and we do not write 0 because there are no number 0 here. So let's continue. And what about the tally? In the tally, we will talk about how many numbers of 1 it occurs, or it happened to see. Let's go back to the data. Let's count 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So therefore, we have all 5 number 1, or 5 families that has 1 child. So what we are going to write here is a tally, meaning we're going to write like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And the second one is 2, meaning 2 children. We're going to find, again, going back to the data, numbers of 2. So let's try 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So therefore, we're going to write here 6 tally. So it should look like this. So we have 5 and 1 tick. So going back again to the table, we have 3, 4, and 5. So if you are going to count them here, you will find out that these numbers will occur 4 times, and number 4 will occur 3 times, and number 5 2 times. So this is how you're going to tally them. And the third column will be talking about frequency. So what we are going to write here are the numbers of tally in a symbol form. So here has 5, we're going to write here 5. Here we have 6, we're going to write here 6, 4, 3, and 2. So this is a frequency table of our first discrete type. So in here, you can easily understand how the data is being arranged. Example, in the number of children 1, we have 5 families that has 1 child. We have 6 families that has two children, and so on and so forth. Now, to check the work, if you got all correctly, like counting them correctly, you need to total this one. So we have 5 plus 6, 11, plus 4, 15, plus 3, 18, and plus 2, 20. So going back here, it has 20 families. So, meaning to say our table is correct. Let's continue. Let's now go to the continuous or grouped data. So in this example, you can see numbers of in the data or data has too many. Unlike before, in the discrete, only less numbers, like the minimum and the maximum are not really far away to each other. But in here, let's say the minimum number is 1. And the maximum number could be like, what do you think is the maximum, meaning the biggest number? So we have 46. Is it correct? So because we have 46 there, the maximum and the minimum is 1, we cannot use discrete data. Whereas we will use continuous or grouped frequency distribution in dealing more about bigger numbers. So how do we make that into a table? By the way, the data was all about obtained by 30 students, or the marks obtained by 30 students of a class in Math Test B. So these are the marks or the scores of 30 students in one class, or in a class, in the math test. So how do we make that into a table? First, you're gonna make a big table again, divide it into 3 columns, and the first column will be marks, since we are talking about marks. The second one is tally, and third one is frequency. So in here, the marks we are talking about is we did a grouping. So in here we have classes, class 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 classes all in all. In one class, we have the minimum number like 0 to 10, meaning we are grouping them together to make it smaller. Since we see numbers here that are too many, now in the table, we can now understand, or easily to understand, what is going on. So here we have the first class 0 to 10, the intervals 11 to 20, 21 to 30, 31 to 40, and 41 to 50. So in the tally, we will look for numbers in or from 0 to 10. So going back here, we can say 39 is not in the 0 to 10. What about 25? No. What about 5? Yes. So how many are there numbers that belongs to 0 to 10? Let us try to count. 5, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Let's go back to the tally. So here you can find 6. There are 6 of it, since we are talking about no zeros there. So we have 6, and until you can find 11 to 20, we have 11, we have this number, and that number. So the same thing we do but the difference is we are dealing more about on the numbers. Just be careful in counting, because in the frequency you may find out that you are wrong by getting the tally or the total. So in the frequency, you just have to count the tally. So in this number we have 6, we're gonna write there 6. In this number we're gonna write 11, 5, 4, and 4. So in this example, we are now finished with our continuous or grouped frequency distribution. And that ends our topic for today. So do not forget to answer the questions below for your assessment or exercise in the Google Forms, and please click submit after answering all the questions. Okay, goodbye.